Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about GitLab.
But before we begin, let me inform you few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
Okay, so we are going to start with understanding the GitLab. Okay, so I'll start with the fundamentals and then slowly we'll get into the intermediate and then advanced topic. So primarily this training is designed for GitLab administrator. Okay, but also so GitLab administrator not only like the rules is to install the GitLab and manage the users authentications and some of the configuration, but also understanding the all aspects of GitLab, including the user aspects, so you can help them. You can help the users what are the workflows and stuff like that. So let's get started. So the areas what we will cover, which includes management, that means how to manage a GitLab. We'll also get into the some sort of development also, GitLab, some of the areas of development, CI/CD and stuff like that. We'll go into the validations, GitLab validations, deployments and security. Security which includes the SAST and DAST. So yes, you can implement the security also using GitLab. You can manage the entire deployment also using GitLab. Validations anyways, CI/CD policies and stuff like that. And we'll get into that. So which version we are going to use as part of this session? So I'm going to use the latest version, which is 15.3. Yesterday only I updated this slide. So most recent version what we have, we are going to use that version as part of this test session. Okay, so that is the stuff. Yeah, so I believe all of you have a fair knowledge about the DevOps, correct? So let's make this session a little bit more interactive rather than me teaching you whole day and then you listening and doing the stuff. But rather than let's discuss the things, because the GitLab, the one which the tool which you are trying, basically we whenever we talk about the GitLab, we think we are hosting the repository, but exactly it's not only the place for hosting the repository. It's like it has a hell lot of other features also which you need to understand. And if you want to understand that GitLab feature, you have to get back to a little bit of a DevOps. Okay, DevOps. So anyone would like to share what do you think about a DevOps? What do you think about the DevOps? Anyone? I mean, just it can be anything which you understand about it.
So DevOps is mainly talking about continuous integration and continuous deployment when it is introduced. So GitLab is one of the applications which widely supports CI/CD. So
Yes.
I believe the introduction of CI/CD into GitLab is where we are calling a DevOps inside GitLab.
Right. Yeah. Anyone would like to add from here? Okay, so I'll put it in a simple way. DevOps is like a new concept which is being coined from last 5, 6 or maybe 7, 8 years a lot. Okay, it's nothing new actually. Something similar concept we had earlier also, and with a little bit of change and variations we are bringing it together right now in form of DevOps. So what is a DevOps? So in a DevOps culture, it's a culture basically how we work. In a DevOps culture, there is only one team. So right now, if you say, hey, I'm from dev team, the moment you say I'm from dev team and I'm from QA team and I'm from IT team or I am from tools team or I am from ops team, that means you are not a DevOps. That means you are not a DevOps. DevOps has only one team and the team will do the development. So I'll put it in this way. The team is supposed to do the coding for the features of the software. The same team will do the coding for the testing of that particular software, and same team will do the coding. Here coding is common, so you have to code. So same team will do the coding for the infrastructure, CI/CD, deployment, and so on. So when we say infrastructure, some of you, I think Olympic said he's writing a cookbooks. So it's infrastructure coding. Some of you will write a pipeline coding, which I'll teach you in GitLab also. So that is also coding. Terraform, infrastructure coding, deployment coding, configuration management coding. So here you as a team are doing everything. Earlier we were having the dev engineering team, which you call it agile team separate, and ops team separate. So operations team will do the manager. So this team only will manage the production server. So now understand this way. You have a multiple functions now performed by one team. So now each team, whatever the tool set they are using, they have to combine also. So GitLab is providing a common interface for everyone, basically in a nutshell, DevOps team to do development also, testing also, and operations also. So everything you could be able to achieve using DevOps. By the way, GitLab. By the way, GitLab also getting into the DevSecOps also. So anyone would like to share what do you think about the DevSecOps? Anyone? Anyone from you guys also? So security practices. So implementing the DevOps is one thing, but on top of that, implementing the security along with the DevOps is called DevSecOps. Okay, so every phases of DevOps, when you practice the security also, then that's called DevSecOps. So here GitLab will help you to implement the DevSecOps also along with that. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say here, GitLab is a platform where you can do everything from the development planning, development, testing, operations, security, everything. You should be able to do everything, and that's the reason we have to know a little bit of context of DevOps and stuff like that. So yeah, we are more or less we have discussed about DevOps, agile development, and stuff like that. So all of us, I think, I am assuming, we know that agile methodology and stuff like that. So, and there are some many benefits of DevOps which we have. Okay, so faster delivery to the market, communication between the development and operations, better feedback loop for customers, quick reactions to bugs and bad code patterns and stuff like that. So yeah, DevOps is simply agile software development pattern with inclusion of operations department. So this is a DevOps. Now, anyone who'd like to know a little bit more about the DevOps, CM is continuous integration, CD, continuous deployment, delivery, okay, and a few other stuff. So I'll share one videos of mine, which has a 2 to 3 hours of recording, and please go through that. It will help you to, understand the purpose of tool, actually, this tool. And that I'll share with you offline, and you can go offline also. Okay, so yeah, this is the things. So now coming back to the GitLab, that's our topic. Okay, so GitLab, you can say, help you to implement the DevOps. Simple, help you to implement the DevOps. So whatever requirement you have at a DevOps, it will provide a platform to implementing the DevOps. So single platform that provide entire DevOps tool chain for organization of any scales and size. So that means planning team required some tool sets, architect team, development teams required some tool sets, testing team also required some tool sets, and operations also required some tool sets. GitLab is a platform where you get everything. In fact, security also. So GitLab is a platform where you get everything at one place. So you don't have to struggle here and there to get an integration. So typically, if you don't go for the GitLab, then multiple open source tool you have to implement and integrate through the Jenkins. Okay, so you can say Jenkins, I think some of you might have worked with it. So there will be integration, right? SonarQube integrations for SAST, then Jira integration for the planning, build integration for Maven, Gradle and stuff like that. A pipeline, we have it. Then Ansible integration for the deployment and stuff like that. So many integrations we do at Jenkins. Probably integration will be minimized at the GitLab. That is what we are trying to say. So yeah. So what is a GitLab? So here GitLab is a company and it is a product also. So GitLab is a open core company that provide commercial services around the GitLab products. Now it's a product also, and GitLab is an open source product that provides DevOps capabilities for business of all size. It has enterprise version also, which is paid version. So as part of this session, we'll try the enterprise version, not a community version, because I think some of you have used already community version, which I heard. So yeah, so the one DevOps platform, which is a GitLab, from planning to production. Remember, in SDLC cycle, what we do? All of you are having fair knowledge about it. So let me put it up, not writing here. So you do the planning, then what we do? Planning, then what we do? No, planning, then coding. After coding, what we do? What we do? No. Fast. We are moving fast. So I'll write it. It'll be easy for you guys to have a note of it. Okay. So you need to understand this SDLC cycle, and then it'll be easy to you to understand what features can be used at GitLab for what region. Okay. So it's very important to us. So this SDLC cycle you have to understand. So here typically what we do, plan. Okay. And then plan, after that we do the coding. After that coding, we do analysis, code analysis, right? Spelling mistake, please ignore it. And then after analysis, what we do? After analysis? No. Deployment is very fast. After analysis, see, I write a code. Then someone has to review that code. And then after the review, you have to build it, right? Build the code, right? Building process, build, release. I think someone said build and release. I don't know. I think you said, right? So build and release. And after that, we do unity testing. And after that, we package the software. Packaging is also very huge domain actually. I have to create a package for the Windows, Linux, Mac, packages in Java for jar, var, EAR, .NET like a DLLs on EXEs, MSIs, for Android APKs. Again, for the iOS, different packaging is a different world, complex world. So you have to package the software. And after the packaging the software, you have to archive the software. Archive means? No, archive means, packaging archive means a place where we store the packages. You can say package management. So I think in Qualcomm, are we using Artifactory? I think
Yes,
because
we are using Artifactory, even Maven also we are using. So we moved to Artifactory.
Maven is a build tool here. This is the build tool. Yeah. And
even in Maven you can archive it. But Artifactory is a tool where in which you can archive. It was a proper archiving tool.
Yes.
Maven is also sometimes back, like a couple of years back we used to store the repositories. But as you told, right, and is used only for building the packages, like jars and bars. But this Maven, it was little bit updated version of and then now Artifactory is a full-fledged version of archive, like in which you can share your archives, artifacts and other stuff.
Yeah. So I'll just add some lines on top of it. So Maven is having repository concept, but it is having local repository. That means no centralized repository. So for the centralized, you have to go for Maven Central. That is one option where you cannot store. And then you can use, these are the product actually, Nexus, Artifactory, and Archiva. So these are the integrations you have to do that. Okay. So Archiva is Apache Archiva. So here Maven can store the packages, true, but only in the local repository. That means in the one server, which we don't want to keep it because of security reason. So what we do typically, we send either to, this is a read only by the way, we cannot modify. So here, either you can use Maven with Nexus or Artifactory or Archiva or something like that. So this is the right combination. Okay. So now, yes, you can use Amazon S3 bucket also. Basically, any object storage you can use it. In fact, Azure also you can use it. Object storage you can use it. Object storage means the place where we can have a file versioning. For example, you can use Git also for that. Git is also object storage. S3 is also object storage. These all also providing a Java object storage. Okay. Okay. So now coming back to the topics, yes. So SDLC cycle. So planning done, coding done, analysis done, build done, UT done, packaging done, archiving done. So archive the package. After that, what we do? Deployment to QA. I think someone said Chef. Chef you can use here. Ansible you can use here. Okay. And then after that, acceptance testing means here, because testing is a huge domain actually, and so many tools is being used. So I'm putting all this sort of testing under the 80 means acceptance testing. That means I perform X number of testing and accept that package. Okay. And then code coverage. And then finally, if all pass, we do the release. If one failed, we do the repeat. So here, if you see traditional tooling system, so for the planning, what we were using, I'll not talk about all the tools, but just one tool for one problem. So planning, we were using Jira. Coding, we are using Git. Earlier, we were using Perforce and stuff like that. Analysis, probably we are using SonarQube. And build, we are using Maven or Gradle. UT, JUnit, if it is NUnit, if it is a .NET. Java, JUnit. Packaging, it depends on the requirement, again, platform and system and blah, blah, blah. Archiving, again, we discussed already. Nexus Artifactory, Archive, S3 and blah, blah, blah. Deployment to QA, Ansible is a preferred one. Chef is also, Puppet also, CF Engine also. Many tools are there. Acceptance testing, again, many tools are there. Like Selenium, we have JMeter, we have Load Runner, we have QTP, we have FTPQ, we have. So many tools we have. And code coverage like Jacoco or Ncover or Cover, or many tools are there in that. So these are the typical phases we do. Different tools we are using. What GitLab is doing, GitLab is connecting all the dots together and providing a common solution at single platform. So here you are using so many tools, and on top of that, if you want to set up a integration, then probably if you're going to the open source solution, then all this integration, we call it, we have to do through the Jenkins. So Jenkins is a CI tool. So GitLab is also CI tool, but much more capabilities than Jenkins. Okay, so everything, what I'm trying to say, GitLab, you will get an entire ecosystem at GitLab. So developers can work, testing team can work, operations team can work, manager can work, architect can work at a one tool. So every aspects of this SDLC cycle is covered.
So is it going to integrate all these tools, or does it have the capability of performing all that functionality?
Many of the tools, many of this functionality we have at GitLab only. And some of the functionality, if they don't have, integration is possible. So I'll show you which are the technology. For example, see, for coding, code storage, they have it. Analysis, SAST, they have it. Build, you can expose with a Maven and Gradle. UT, you have to expose. Archiving, they have it. Deployment also, you have a capability, but people use it, Terraform, Ansible, and Chef and Puppet like that. These tools, you have test management suite, they have it. But testing tools, again, you have to integrate with and something like that. So we'll discuss one by one. Okay, so coming back to the things. So GitLab will provide you one platform for everything. Okay, so that is the things. A single package will be a very small word. Platform we call it, then it looks very rich word actually. Package is not good. So a platform which provide entire DevOps solution for software development lifecycle, the one which we discussed. So yes, it is a DevOps platform. You can do automated software delivery. You can do continuous software security, which I was talking about, DevSecOps, right? Security also they implementing. Accelerating digital transformation means when you want to migrate to the new technologies, it will help you to accelerate. Continuous software compliance also, it will help you define, enforce, and report on compliance on one platform. And again, many features which is open source solutions. Okay, so many paid are also, but many open source solutions. Now these are the offering what GitLab have. Okay, so one is SaaS based software, which we are not using as part of this training. Okay, I think because Anil said we want to use the hosted one, right? So SaaS based means you can go in a cloud, register like a GitHub, and you can get all this platform. But we are using self-managed. That means we'll set up our own server, our own enterprise server, and we'll manage. Not only manage, we'll use also. We'll troubleshoot also. We'll see that how can we onboard other people also to the GitHub, so that those are the things we'll learn. So SaaS, we have a community version, enterprise version. That means there we have a free also. That means you can go to the GitLab and use the free lifetime also. But some of the features, mainly DevOps, security, SAST and DAST are paid software, enterprise option. And few more advanced like test automation is also paid. Okay, but I would say 50% of free, remaining advanced features are paid. In self-managed also something similar. We have a community version, enterprise version, though we are going for the enterprise version trial period. Okay, so that is a offering. Okay, so our focus is enterprise self-managed. Okay, now we'd like to know about the pricing. So this is SaaS pricing. Okay, for the enterprise pricing for the self-hosted, again you can discuss because this all depends on the deal actually. Okay, so this price will not standard one. So but SaaS is fixed one. Here you can see free, premium and ultimate. Now if you see that what is a difference between the free, premium and all, so you'll see that some of the storage difference and some of the features difference which you have, right? So right now I'm just giving you this information at a high level. Those who are interested to know about this, on the website it's clearly defined which is available as part of the free, which is part of the premium and ultimate. We can see the difference. For time being, we'll see that enterprise one, which has all the features for active for 30 days or 60 days or something like that. Okay. Okay, so now this is the enterprise edition and community edition difference here. So of course in enterprise community edition you have no support. Okay, and will need to migrate to enterprise edition to upgrade to a paid tier in the future. So that is a thing. So maybe in the future again, if they will discontinue the community edition, which I find little hard to believe, but if they do that, then again you have to have your own migration simply. Uh-huh. See, the reason why I'm saying it's hard to believe because this particular software has been developed using many open source product. So as per the copyright guidelines, if you are using open source product and to make it commercial product, then you are violating the open source guidelines. So that's the reason most of the software you see, they will have a part of it's free because they are using open source product to develop the software. So they cannot make it 100% commercialization stuff like that. So it's like that. So yes, SaaS we host, no technical, we host means GitLab host, no technical setup required, so you don't have to worry about downloading and installing and stuff like that. So if you go for the SaaS, of course you know that don't have to install, don't have to upgrade, don't have to backup, don't have to worry about the security, don't have to worry about the patches. You don't have anything as such, but after that whatever that you can take care of it. But in self-manage you have to completely take care of yourself. You have to install, configure, troubleshoot, patching, updating, user management, security management, backup management, restoration management, everything admin activities you have to do that. And for that there's a pros and cons actually. So yes, self-manage, you host, download and install GitLab on your own infrastructure or in our cloud environment required Linux experience. So this is the something. Now, next thing is when you want to install GitLab, what are the system requirements? This is at the high level. Okay, this is at the high level. I would request you to, when you install for your organization, go for the detailing. Detailing means few page documentation which is available at the official page, and then you look at this: how much CPU, how much RAM, what are the number of users, how many checkout, how many check-in, what are the loads will be there. Everything you have to analyze in a proper way, and then decide the capacity and capacity planning for the GitLab server. But this is at a high level to get started with it, because we are going to learn right now GitLab. So this is the minimum configuration which you can have it. So software requirement: Redis 5 plus O. So storage minimum 2.5 GB, CPU 4 core, for it will be active for 500 users, memory 4 GB, database Postgres. Earlier the MySQL support was there, I think last year, but they have deprecated this. So no MySQL, only one database support is there right now, is Postgres. Okay, apart from that few extensions required, of course, and there's one more utility which is required, Puma. Okay, so these are the, if you want to set up self-hosted one, then these are the utility which you need to have to install it and get it done. Okay. So lots of data which is have a cache for searching and distributed searching and all. So for that you have a Redis. Puma is a one extension actually. They have a multiple software which developed using the library called Puma. So that has to be configured. Okay, so manually you don't have to configure, it's a part of the requirement document. So when you install it, they will configure. Basically, GitLab is using nothing but a chef cookbooks itself. So chef cookbook, there is a one cookbooks which is dedicated to installing and configuring the Puma for GitLab requirement. So for us, we need to know sometime in future if you want to troubleshoot, that's a good thing. But for time being, it's a requirement. Make sense? Huh? They have a and they have a Puma also. They have a part of Nginx also. Some part of Nginx. If you look at the cookbooks actually, but Nginx few specific libraries they are using, not a complete web server. So it's like a mix of things.
Is it like the unicorn is replacing by this thing?
That visibility I don't have that. Yeah. Again, I'll look at the cookbooks and then I can tell you that.
Is replacing by Puma. Yeah, that was the worker before, right? So
Yeah.
the Nginx worker, whatever.
Yeah. So earlier it was using so latest architecture, the 15.0, they have changed few component, deprecated few component actually. Yeah. So this is the high level information. Again, detailed one. If you look at the documentation, they will have a detail.
Database will have only the user information. What kind of
Everything about the project. We have a multiple feature at the GitLab. We have project groups, issues. We have lots of metadata for the other stuff. So everything will be used in the database. Okay. Now again, one more thing. GitLab information. Git repository is not stored in the database. They have a file system actually. So that is we have to separately, we call it a data store that has to be configured separately. So that database is not there, is stored in the Postgre.
all the commits information will be stored?
No. Commit will be stored in the Git repository. All the, when I say user means, okay, there is a two part of it. There is one part of the Git and there is one part of the GitLab. So GitLab users group issues, tickets, all the runners and all this information will be stored in the Postgre. Now Git will be separate. It's a file system. File system means let's put it up. You are running on software and storing the some of the files, heavy files in some D drive or something like that. So it's like that. File system will be there. So this file system can be S3 also. It can be local system also. It can be Azure also, Azure Blob also. So multiple it can be. Okay. Okay. So now how do we install this? So there are multiple installation method which we have. So one of the installation method which we have a Linux, and that's I think we understand that we have a VMs and then we install this GitLab and continue like that. We have another method which we have Helm chart. So Helm chart basically it will work only on the Kubernetes. So let's say if your organization is migrated to the Kubernetes and you want to run GitLab also on Kubernetes, then you have a Helm chart, and Helm chart which will install within a few minutes. Now you can, because Helm charts, of course, Docker will be there by default. So Docker also two kind of installations are there, Docker and Docker Compose. So two kind of installations are Docker containers, and Docker Compose also get you the container but in a better way. So Docker also you can install from the source code also. You can compile the source code and install it. Those are all possible. And there is one utility which is called GitLab Environment Toolkit, that is also there, and GitLab operators. So what is operators? So there is a concept in Kubernetes called operators. How many of you are comfortable with the Kubernetes? Yeah, all of you. So here you can install the package. You can deploy the deployment services and blah 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 PVCs and stuff like that through Helm package. Or there is an operator. Operator means it's a CRD, custom resource definition. That means what GitLab has done, they said, hey, I'm writing a deployment file also, services file also, PV file also, PBC files also, but also I'm writing a API resources. API resources such as like a pod, deployment, RC, RS, all these things are API resources. So like that we have operators also. Okay. So like that also we have operators, and using that also you can install. So nowadays every vendor is developing operator for the Kubernetes platform. So GitLab also has developed, and you can use it. So this you can use in any Kubernetes platform, and OpenShift, Rancher, and all stuff like that you can use it. Okay, so as part of this training I will teach you how to install through the Linux package. Okay, if you want a little bit more, maybe Docker also I'll show you, and get going. Any questions so far?
CPU, how many people find it uses for some CPU, right?
Huh, but for our testing purpose, we'll go for 4 GB or 8 GB RAM or something.
How that definition is being yeah,
Huh.
core for 500.
4 core for 500. So this statistics, like what GitLab is doing, they are setting up the server, and they create a benchmark. This is called load testing. Okay, so they perform the load testing based on the benchmark of 500 people, 1,000 people, or 2,000 people, or 5,000 people. So this all benchmark they have published on the system requirement documents, and I have taken only minimum one. So if you see that if you have 1,000 people, 1,000 users, then there's a, I think, 16 core required. So accordingly they have one table, and then they will say if you have a load of this many users, go for this core. This is a recommendation actually. Depends on, again, let's say 400 users, but again the lots of commits is happening, lots of build is happening, lots of loads are there. So that again is a benchmark might not be needed. You have to increase the capacity again. Depends on this, is because capacity planning is completely based on the real uses, correct? So that is something which we have.
GitLab advises VMs to be the platform, is what I hear.
VMs?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
They are not recommending bare metal current. So either you can go with VMware or you can go with AWS or whatever, like the EC2.
AWS is also VMs only. AWS.
So why not a bare metal? Is there any specific reason why GitLab doesn't recommend a bare metal?
See, I mean, there is no validation as such bare metal, because whatever you have, bare metal means, are you thinking like operating system or without?
Just a physical server.
Stack machine in a DC,
Huh. So I don't have any reasons for that bare metal or VM, because there's no much difference. But here what happens, the VMs, when you have cloning and taking a backup restoration process, will become very easier compared to the bare metal. And apart from that,
Some level of HA that
HA and all, yeah. Nowadays, hardly anyone is using bare metal actually.
really depends on what sort of workloads you have.
Yeah.
I don't think will really be able to.
But if you have a workload, we can increase the HA. We can make it HA and manage that through the stuff. So basically here, architecture is like application is one side, database is another side. So HA we can create a application also, and clustering of Postgres also it can be created. Redis clustering also can be created. So everything can be HA here.
And this all would be active with it, or does it have any restriction that it works only on an active?
So you can make it read only. Depends on the which. You can make it few read only for the commit operations. You can make it few instances. You can only for CI. So those are the configuration. When we set up HA, it can be configured actually.
And this Redis, what you were talking about, like caching of your data. So is that caching of your actual repository so that it would be fast enough for the users, or what sort of caching?
It is basically caching for all the metadata which is on GitLab. For example, ticketing, CI information, logs. When you do the build, CI also generate lots of log. That one. DevOps solution. So caching the source code searches is at the repo level, and they are using actually internally how this code searches is happening. I'm not got into that, but I'll find that information for them.
So
But
I just wanted to find out whether that this will help caching of your Postgres metadata to be more quick enough. Or
that is only for the Postgres. But you ask, no, that Git repo is there or not. So that I think is not required for you, because in the Git capability, repo management itself has that capability. Okay, so this is the stuff. Now there are some port specifications which we have for GitLab. If you are using the just a second. So if you are using the Linux based installation, then you have to do little bit of study on this port specifications. So here these are the ports right now. GitLab Ruby, GitLab Rails, which is 80 port, Shell 22, Postgres, this is the port number. Redis we have, Puma we have, GitLab Workhorse. So these are the port specification which we have. Nginx, here we have 8060, and Prometheus node exporter. This all are for admin work. Prometheus node exporter, Redis exporter, and so these are the ports specifications which we have. Now this, for time being, to learning this platform, not complexity is required, but once we get into the troubleshooting, you need this information very well. So yeah, this is a
These
stuff.
are all the default ports where the services run.
Yes.
You can
So
still customize them. Have it.
So if you know that chef cookbooks, you can customize everything. So chef cookbooks, yeah. So in there'll be one RB file, attributes.rb file. So all this you can modify and it will change. But yep, most of the time we don't want to change because we want to go with the flow. In the GitLab server, the place where we install the GitLab, we don't install anything else. So that is a thing.
All this set on a single machine, or you set it across different?
Depends on that. For timing, is a single machine, but when you set up HA, then it will bring to the other machines also. For example, the place where you're using database clustering, so those data Postgres, the port number should be available. So like that.
What are the components which are separate?
We are separating
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to 100s of playlists and 1000s of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.